In November, I made a plan to be buyer of dollar in January. 2 weeks ago, I said I'm going to be seller at Aussie dollar at 0.7225 and 0.7266, and I put those at limit orders on the Monday. And you know what happened? A target was hit, 0.71, and 0.70 was hit now on Friday. So for this week, we're going to look at stock market, bond market, Forex market, and commodities market. Let's start with the dollar. So first of all, we have identified before even January started that this was our target area. So when we're looking into next month of February, we are already looking into dollar going all the way up to around 98.69. So when we're coming into this week, we now had to identify the current support that we are thinking, well, where can this one fall down to? One, it can just continue higher. So whatever I'm going to talk about right now is just where it could be great. So to be a buyer at. So first of all, we need to identify the daily support, the weekly support, and the monthly support. So if you come down all the way to monthly support, it's a pretty big pullback. But by the way, that is actually what we would like to see, because that would give us more money to take it higher. Because we did take profit on Friday, right? So we need some pullbacks. So what I expect right now in the market is that we are going to continue. We're going to continue the strength that we currently have in dollar. It's not going to die right now. So I just need to be on both sides. So I have one strategy is to be aggressive and day trader, taking every pullback I can get. Then on the swing trading side, also be at the pullbacks, but a bit deeper, as we can see here on weekly and monthly support. And when you come into like pairs like Aussie, how far do we go? Where do we go? So when you do like simple price action, and you're thinking, okay, where's the previous support? Where's the previous resistance? So this was resistance at around 0.7050. And the next one is 0.71. Now, those are very good levels, but that is over 100 pips away from current level. So how do you deal with that? First of all, you have to have two-way strategy. One aggressive, one more laid back. So right now, I would actually sell both. I will put my limit orders on. For my own trading, and you will see it on my FX book. And I will look to sell Australian dollar to the downside all the way down to 68.68. Okay. Now this week we have a very interesting news coming out. We have the RBA interest meeting on Tuesday for Europe and for Australia, but for America is Monday evening. Now, what is important here? What do we expect? Now we have to go to look on news. What does the market expect? But one thing we have to see here is, what do they think about the future? They closed down the lockdowns, the end of lockdowns back in December. Are now finally Australia starting to pick up their momentum? Well, that's what we have to see if the central bank is also seeing that. But also, even though you think that market or the economy, you think the economy is going to be bearish. Even though you think that the market is bearish at the moment, Australia is not doing too well. The central bank, especially this one, has surprised us before. So if you want to take a trade on Aussie this week, please be assured that you survive this event. This can move the market like 100 pips or 50 pips on the initial move, and then we shall see what they actually say. I see this as the event I need to get price higher, so I can sell it down again. And looking at the euro, for example, this one also has these are pretty good pullbacks, right? First of all, we hit like around 11.80 this week. That is a very interesting level because it didn't really have a lot of pullback on Friday. We're coming into February now. Now we want some bigger pullbacks. And how do you know this? Because you do chart again and again and again, and you try to see where does it go. How does it go every time? So I have given you some levels that I'm going to put my orders on, and you're going to see it again on the open account. And you're going to see that I'm going to see around 112 and around 112.50. I'm going to put my limit orders on. And I am most likely going to put some stop losses in, and they should be above 1300, 113. So what is going to happen next week, I do not know. But I do expect dollar to continue to strength. The market is about now pricing in pretty aggressively 5 rate hikes at the moment, and might even be every meeting. So we will have to cross the bridge when we go there. Whenever the Fed comes back and says, well, we think that whatever the market has been pricing in is too aggressive, this one will start rising again. So just remember, there is news risk in the market. So let me use my pivot point, as some of you like, some of you don't like. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I really like them. Why do I like them? I like them because they use the same levels that I use to find using support and resistance. It's just that is highlighted a bit more graphical. So that's the prime level to sell Aussie pound, and that's the aggressive level to sell pound next week. By the way, I'm not going to sell this one. So if you're thinking of selling, you should be looking at around 134.80 and 134.50. Now, what really would happen, or what I really would see on this one, is probably the first pair I would actually buy whenever I'm dollar bear. But I'm not. So, I expect dollar to rise next week. I expect it to be aggressive, and I expect all the other currencies to fall. And by the way, the reason why pound is not rising is because of dollar. Pound should be rising quite rapidly on its own. So right now it's just the lack of demand, because there's so much demand for the dollar. And when we're going into next week on New Zealand, by all means, again, coming back up to 66 or 66.50, and then we will go all the way down to 64, 30 or 50. Now, is that a real target? Because the target for most of my pairs next week is actually monthly for February, because we're coming into February now, and I know, we are going to have some hallelujah, we're going to have some pretty nasty moves, I would say, in the market, and 0.6350 is actually pretty reasonable. And then we will see what is happening. And we shall see this week as well. We haven't really been listening to the pivot points. We haven't been listening to anything. And I know out there is a lot of buyers on the euro. And there's a lot of buyers on Aussie. And there's a lot of buyers on pound. And there's a lot of retail buyers on New Zealand dollar. Which is very sad. Please don't buy those pairs when they're falling. That doesn't work. So, if you're wondering how we made 270 pips on Aussie, we did that with dollar strength. USD CAD. Okay, I want this one to go higher. It has. But I'm not so sure that it's really the time and place to be really bullish here, because of the Bank of Canada, that is pretty much still very bullish, and we might see some pullbacks this week, and we might still go higher, but this is not the average thing to look forward to, because it's not really rising or falling as the other also Euro New Zealand pairs that we've all been shorting. So when you're looking into USD CAD, it is pretty much support and resistance, support and resistance, support and resistance. Straightforward, straight up, nothing else, just, cozy. So when we are thinking of this one going higher, it might, but also do remember that it might do that because of dollar weakness, CAD strength, out of the blue, we didn't see it. So I see that USD CAD has added risk to it because they're two very strong currencies against each other, and the first one to give up is the market. That's the direction the market is going to take anyways. So, upside, eh? Maybe around 27, maybe around 126.50, all the levels you should look for a reversal. I don't know what levels you use. I don't know what reasons you use to enter the market, but I'm just going to put limit orders in. That is the easiest one because I don't have time to go at the charts every time, all the time. And yeah. And by the way, targets for the upside, what could that be this week? You might say, well, that could be all the way up to 129. Remember last week we crashed it? Well, I would say any pullback here down to 127, 126.50, those levels that I just mentioned, are levels you would conservatively normally want them to go down to. So let's see if the market is going to be normal or if it's going to be crazy. But I would just say, please, people, please don't do anything you wouldn't do. So I said pound yen, should fall at 155. Oh, it has happened. It happened. It went to 155. And now it's fallen again. I don't know if this is the level we're going to fall from. But as you can see, I have placed the price arrow here. This one here. And spot on. Boom. So, would you think that I have any power to predict the next week's market? If I said this one's going to fall next week, do you believe me? Thank you. I believe so too. So, down to 152. That is around 200 pips. What do you do then? Well, I would then look for price to come back up to 154.50 and then sell it all the way down. And that's a bit 50 pips less, but okay, 150 down then. What else? How do you sell? I would put limit order on. I would put stop loss above here, and it's go time. By the way, CAD is still strong. By the way. Aussie yen, another one falling to the downside. Another one that I think is great to trade. That's my personal opinion. I don't do New Zealand CAD. I don't do Euro CAD or Pound Aussie or all those things that just go ranges and crazy up and downs. This one, it's much more kinder. Because I have learned to understand it. I guess that is the reason why only. So, I would think 81 is a good level. And we can go down all the way down to 79.50. That is 150 drop. Yeah. 150 drop with 50 pips stop loss. Oh yeah, boom. Going into next week. We have a lower low now. We have a new trend. And I shorted this one at around, I think I shorted here. Pretty good. And I got out of it here. Boo. Anyways, so we have a new opportunity this week at 81. So we shall see if the market agrees. Just to remind us on 10-year T-note before going to gold is that this one is falling. What does that mean? That means people are buying bonds. What does that mean? Or at least lack of selling at least. That means that we are fearful. We have gold, okay? Gold are very low, but what is going to happen next? The thing is about gold is that gold doesn't care about your account size. It doesn't care about your account, doesn't care about where you sell or buy. You don't have the power to do it. So what do? Okay. The daily sell is around current price around 17.91. That's not the major sell level. The major sell level this week is 18.10, 18.12 area. So I would wait for that. But if it then falls, don't come to me and say, Ivan, you said that, you said this. I don't control where gold is going to go. We're going to go one step at a time, as we always do. But if you're thinking of buying this one, please have mercy. I wouldn't buy this one if I was given $1 million. Your choice, not mine. I wouldn't. Good night. Always stop loss according to 1% of your account. Don't lose everything. Don't lose more than 1%. 1%. And if it makes you go down 20, 50, you shouldn't trade gold. But if you have the leverage, if you have the account size, if you have the ability, if you're an expert level in trading, that's when you probably can look at gold. All the other times, if you're new, you're probably going to lose all your accounts, and you're coming crying to me, and I have to build you up on something else. I first have to build you up. I would love to build you up, but not because you lost. I want to build you up because you are hungry for knowledge. The next one is oil, and ta-da! I said 88.80 was the target last week, and boom! Yeah, I didn't take it, but trade plan is trade plan. I did not have that entry though, but I said that was a target, and oh my lord, it went down again. I would wait a bit for this one. I would just say, well, next week, what are we gonna do? I don't like that fall there, by the way. So I'm gonna say for this next week, maybe we can get a deeper pullback before it goes higher again. Maybe down to 86, maybe down to 84. But the ultimate target this week is 91.41. If we now go higher again, sure, day trade it if you want to. Around New York is around the most important time to be around, and that is the high. Okay, around New York. That's around New York again. So that might be the time where it creates enough volatility to go down, so you can add a buy to the upside, right? But that's only up to you. If you have any shares or any interest in this company next week, make sure that you're following, because they will have earnings next week. So, is this bullish? Can we buy it? I have not. Other people has. I haven't. Why? Because it's not technically good at how I want. So as you can see, pretty straightforward, pretty easy I would say, is that we will need higher high, need a pullback, and then buy. But this might be a dead cat bounce. What does that mean? When something is falling, it goes back up again before it continues falling. Just remember that. Don't over leverage. And I'm probably going to put in like very small. I'm going to hold it for 10 years if I can. And Nasdaq, the same thing, needs a higher high. That will be my demand level whenever it comes up there, and it creates a new high and it comes back down again. If this next week is if the next week now is going to be like, whoa, what's going on? I will not have bought. I will not be a buyer here. And the last one for Dow Jones, same thing. I haven't bought it, still a range, and I'm going to be patient. You know, patience is the discipline that you all need, that we all need every single time. Bitcoin. So maybe it's time. I see something. So I want Bitcoin to go higher. That would be lovely. So I need a higher high, and I might get that before tomorrow. So that is fantastic. So that marks the last thing, is to follow my lives every day at New York Open if you want to have other currencies being taken care of. Until then, boom. Have a good day.